So he came. This is unusual. He came early this morning. There was no official greeting. Thanks. I love that camera coverage right there. And what you had, there's walking out. He came to have a call, a G7 call. This G7 call is about the peace negotiations, peace process for Ukraine, right? For Ukraine. And I'm sure Macron wanted to be in the room. Macron's kind of taking the leadership of this, of saying, hey, Europe's got to be at the table and Ukraine's got to be at the table. I don't buy that. I think the framework's got to be set up between Russia and the United States, and it's a bigger framework. This is something many of us have worked on for years. I met actually with Dugin in Rome after I left the White House, the year after I left the White House, to talk about this very topic about the Chinese Communist Party and how important it was to have Russia and America in some sort of understanding, particularly on the Eurasian landmass, of the dangers of the Chinese Communist Party and what the moves by the Chinese Communist Party for dominance, not just in East Asia, but in all the Eurasian landmass, was going to mean for the detriment of mankind. So President Trump, I think, is setting that framework. Now, in that framework of the relationship comes this, Scott Bessent and President Trump working on this minerals deal as part of it. Today, what you're seeing is Macron wants Europe to have a seat at the table. And President Trump's being very magnanimous. I'm sure he's going to include him in some way. But patience ran out with Zelensky. And President Trump echoed, I think, what we've been saying on this show for a long time. Zelensky has no cards without the United States writing a massive check, right, which we cannot do, and without us sending tons of arms and eventually a security guarantee, which means U.S. troops. They don't really have a bargaining position. I hate to be so brutally frank about it. And people got to come to that realization. Pete Hegseth, I think, brilliantly summed it up when he was in Brussels, and they got all over Pete as an amateur. He doesn't know what he's doing. Well, we saw what you guys did, and we got 1 million dead or wounded Ukrainians in a destroyed country. And President Trump's kind of obsessed with the destruction and the bloodshed. It just wants it to stop, and he's going to make it stop. And this is what leadership's about. What I'm not particularly excited about is any kind of ongoing commitment into Ukraine. And quite frankly, the minerals, I'm sure the minerals are great, but there's minerals all over the world. It's an opportunity cost. I just think you let Macron and these guys, the big talkers in Europe, let them do it. And we move on.